Asher with Conference Tracker Support, and today we'll be going over how to manage your attendance logs for your conference. Whether on-site or virtual, Conference Tracker will manage all of your attendees' attendance information. This information will be stored under attendance logs. Now, from time to time, some of these logs may need to be verified to ensure there weren't any issues during the conference. Today, we will be going over the most common issues that could happen while recording attendance and how to fix them. To get started, on the left-hand navigation menu, we're going to click on Attendance and Manage Attendance. And here, you will see all of your attendance logs. In this screen, each attendance log will have a few things of importance, such as the attendee's name, the session they attended, when they attended it, for how long, and the status of the attendance log. The status section of each attendance log will let you know if the attendance log is valid or if there's something that we need to fix. There are 5 statuses that your attendance log can have: valid, not signed out, not signed in, less time than required, or invalid. To filter through these statuses, you can always use the search filters on the screen. Now, let's go through each of these attendance logs and see what we need to do to fix them. In order to start editing any of the attendance logs, simply click on their name, and you will be taken to the attendance log itself. Here, we can see the attendee is Nadine Matthews, and they attended the session Marketing Your Event. Under that, we have the in and out times of their attendance. And as we can see here, there were 2 sign-ins and just 1 sign-out. This is what would cause an invalid status. Another similar method to obtain the invalid status would be 2 sign-outs and just 1 sign-in. To fix this, we would simply need to get rid of one of the sign-ins. So we can go over to the right-hand side and click the red trash icon, and we can remove one of the sign-ins. Once we hit Save Changes, we'll see that Nadine's attendance log is now valid. Up next, we have Sandra. Her status is valid, but let's still double check and see how it looks. In this case, Sandra actually signed out mid-session and signed back in 5 minutes later. Now, as we saw, this status is valid, so Conference Tracker will be able to see any breaks that an attendee will take during a session where they sign out and successfully sign back in once they come back. It will calculate the actual time spent at the session, and depending on the session settings, will reward credits to your attendees. So this one's good to go, so we can simply click Save Changes and go back to our main menu. Up next, we have another one from Nadine. It's also valid. And this one simply has an in and an out time that coincide with the session. Let's go back to the attendance log menu. Up next, we have Sandra. Sandra seems to be missing a sign out. They were able to sign into the session, but unfortunately, they did not sign out. To fix this, we just simply need to add a sign out. Clicking on the plus sign here, we'll add another time entry. And here, what we can do is just match the sign out time of the session that they attended. So in this case, virtual events took place from 12 to 1 on June 1st. So we can click on June 1st, go over to 1 p.m., click Save Changes, and now the status is valid. Up next, we have a similar status. This one is not signed in, meaning that they missed a sign-in. They were only signed out of the session. So very similar method of fixing it. Just click on the plus sign to add an in time. Make sure that time coincides with the start of the session. Mobile session starts from 11 and ends at 12. So June 1st, 11 a.m. Save changes. And once again, that status is now valid. The last log we have here mentions that there is less than required. This means that while the attendee did sign in and sign out of the session, they were not in the session for enough time to obtain credit. Now, this was mentioned earlier, but this setting can be changed per session in the session settings menu. So in this case, we would have to see what happened, but let's say that they were in the session for the entire time and there was just a sign in and a sign out error. We can simply edit both of these times. For mobile session, the session started at 11 and ended at 12, so we can simply change that. 11 and 12. Click Save Changes, and now all of our attendance logs are valid. Now, if there is an attendance log completely missing and you just need to create it, we can simply click the Create button. You will see the same menu, and here you can just search for the attendee, the session, and add an in and out time. The last thing I wanted to cover is bulk fixes. By clicking on this More button and clicking on Fix Logs, you will be taken to the Fix Attendance Log screen. Here, you can perform bulk fixes of your attendance logs. For example, let's say there was one session where there was an issue and none of the attendees were signed out, meaning you would have multiple attendance logs with the same exact issue, not signed out. Now, instead of going one by one and fixing all of them, we can use these settings here to filter out the attendance logs in question and fix them all with a few clicks. To do that, the first thing we would need is to click the appropriate tool in order to fix the issue. In our scenario, we are missing signouts, so we have to create signouts. So what we can do is click down here on Create Swipe at the end of the session. And with this, each of those attendance logs in question will have a signout time created at the end of the session. Now, the second step would be to actually filter out the attendance logs that need to be fixed. So here we can choose the session in question. Let's say it's marketing your event, and then the status of the attendance logs that you want to fix. So as we mentioned, not signed out, so we can click here. Now that all of these three steps have been combined, what we have as a result is every attendance log found under marketing your event with a not signed out status will receive a swipe at the end of the session. Clicking on Fix Logs will give you one final confirmation, and then clicking on Proceed will fix all of your logs. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions or need support, please email us at conftrack@engineerica.com.